I get up, and nothing gets me down, except when I miss the platform and fall. And you know that Blob is probably pissed, but I roll with emotions and the platforms I've missed. Oh, can't you see me tilting here? I've got my iPhone everywhere in this frame. Controlling with tilt is lame, but that's not the case with this game. This is Let's Jump. Let's jump! This game is Let's Jump! This must be topsy-turvy land. I don't even like Van Halen, and I certainly don't like playing games by tilting stuff, whether they're controllers or remotes or even phones. But you know what? It actually works in Let's Jump. It's responsive, it doesn't create insatiable desires to throw heavy objects. This could be a lot worse. Like, even worse than me singing Sleaze Rock. And that's pretty bad. This is another game from the mobile publisher Chalingo. We've been reviewing a couple of their games this week. We're playing this one, Let's Jump, on the iPhone. And again, as I mentioned in my a cappella intro, I apologize for the unsteady recording you see here. It's kind of a challenge to capture footage of a game that never sits still. And that's because you play Let's Jump entirely by tilting your phone. Let's Jump is a never-ending platform game. The objective is to climb as high as possible before falling to your catastrophic splattering. This is very much an arcade-style game in the sense that you're playing for high scores. There's no unnecessary story or silly premise. You're a blob who likes to bounce around and who is apparently unfazed by his ridiculously short lifespan. So in a way, Let's Jump kind of feels like the NES classic Ice Climber, only if you controlled Po-Po and Nana by tilting the NES controller. Or I guess more appropriately, by tilting your television. Despite how objectively awful that sounds, it's actually not bad. In fact, tilting your phone to steer your blob works really well. It bounces around by itself, and you move them around by tilting your phone. It's simple to play, and again, it's actually accurate. You're never frustrated by poor motion recognition, it just works. In fact, there's actually an optional touch-based control scheme that has you sliding your finger across the bottom of the screen to control your jumps. And after you use that for a few minutes, you'll be thrilled to go back to tilt. I never in my life thought that I would say that. You'd be happy to go back to tilt. This is topsy-turvy land. In terms of the game itself, though, there isn't much to it. You just play until you die. And speaking of Ice Climber, the game does have that old-school arcade feel, and that your options are limited, and a simple gameplay mechanic is the focus. Now, there are things to unlock, like new backgrounds and new platform varieties, and even multiplayer, and the game does get progressively more difficult, but if its gameplay doesn't hook you, there isn't much else that will in Let's Jump. But if you're into old-school platforming with a modern and literal control twist, this game is definitely worth a look. It fleshes out a nice, retro gameplay mechanic with all the achievements and unlockables you'd expect from modern games. I mean, you used to have to spend untold amounts of quarters to play games like this. You can play this one on your phone for 99 cents. And with Let's Jump, it's $1 well spent.